Hello, this is Kate, and welcome to my very first mini tarot lesson on how to intuitively read the tarot cards. So we're just going to do a simple 3-card spread, and I'm going to start by explaining how to interpret a single tarot card. Okay, so I'll start with turning the card over. And we have got the card of politics. So the first thing I do when I turn a tarot card over is I look very closely at it. So I look at the picture and I pay attention to sort of the very first feeling that pops up for me when I look at the picture. So looking at this picture, and anyone can do this really, there's no trick to it. So looking at this picture, the first thing that comes to mind is that this person may have an issue with being genuine in public because the guy's holding up a mask, so he's sort of hiding his true identity and he's hiding behind a mask or a false self. And there's certainly different ways you could interpret this. So my first instinct may have been that this person represents someone in that person's life. So it isn't necessarily them. It could be, a colleague, a coworker, a family member, or a friend. So it really depends on what your sort of first instinct is when you look at the card. So my first instinct is that this person is having issues with really being genuine and showing their true self and showing their true face. So we'll turn over the next card. Okay, and this card is turning in. So it's a picture of someone meditating, and as you can see, there's little sort of ghosts and faces around her, and I think those represent sort of her thoughts or her mind speaking to her and trying to interrupt her when she's trying to meditate. So now we get into weaving a story. So this is where we will interpret the card's meaning kind of based on which card is next to it. So politics. We've already interpreted politics, and because it's next to turning in, I would say that this could be a remedy for the issue that she's having here. So if she's having an issue with being genuine and presenting her true face to the world, she needs to spend some time meditating, quieting her mind, and turning inward. And when we compare the two, also quite often wearing a social mask could be kind of a symptom of putting a lot of importance into your outside physical world. So investing a lot of importance into worrying about how people see you or how other people look at you and how you appear in the world. So turning in would be a remedy for that. So sort of turn inside, quiet the mind, quiet your worries, and kind of have more of an experience of connecting with your genuine self. So the next card is the card of completion. Okay, so I'm just going to interpret this card based on these other two cards. And because this is sort of a puzzle and it says completion, I'm going to say that this issue, the politics card, has to do with a feeling of not feeling complete or not feeling whole or good enough. So that this is sort of a reason why this person that I'm doing the reading for puts on false airs, is because they don't feel like their true self is whole or good enough. So the whole process of meditation and focusing on the self and focusing on accepting the self is something that's going to help this feeling of completeness and completion come about. Okay, so how else could we interpret this? Another way you could interpret this card is if you look at the picture, the puzzle is being put into the third eye region of this person's face. So you could go to say that this is this card could represent seeing things in a different way, or seeing the big picture, getting kind of more perspective, being able to stand back and see the big picture rather than just sort of individual puzzle pieces. So this is kind of a metaphorical interpretation, and this could be kind of a metaphor for life. So you could even relate this back to this card saying that this person perhaps feels inadequate because they don't have a good sense of looking at the bigger picture or getting more perspective. They're kind of focusing on all the little things. And that the card of tuning in reminds us to kind of shut those little things out, kind of quiet those little voices within, and sort of get a deeper sense of ourself and sort of step back and look at the bigger picture. So this has been our first tarot lesson, so I hope you found this helpful. And if you have any ideas of particular topics that you want me to cover, please send me a message through YouTube and I'll do my best to do a lesson covering those topics. Thank you very much for joining me.